Okay, great. Now I'll turn over to the rest of the briefing and start off with some good news. The Joint Coordination Center was officially inaugurated today in Istanbul with representatives of Ukraine, the Russian Federation, Turkey, and the United Nations. The JCC will facilitate the implementation of the Black Sea Grain Initiative to establish a humanitarian maritime corridor to allow ships to export grain and related foodstuffs from Ukraine. Welcoming the launch of the JCC, the Undersecretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator, Martin Griffiths, noted that the swift opening of the Joint Coordination Center was made possible with invaluable support from Turkey in providing the parties with a physical platform to help operationalize the Black Sea Grain Initiative, and with the commitment by the Russian Federation and Ukraine in nominating and sending quickly their senior representatives to work together, directly and in partnership in implementing the agreement. Present at the ceremony was the UN interim representative to the JCC, Frederick J. Kenny Jr., who is leading the UN's efforts on the ground in facilitating the parties' efforts to operationalize the agreement. The JCC will enable the safe transportation by merchant ships of commercial foodstuffs and fertilizer from 3 key Ukrainian ports in the Black Sea: Odessa, Chornomorsk, and Yuzhny. The center will monitor the movement of commercial vessels to ensure compliance with the initiative, focus on exports of bulk commercial grain and related food commodities only, as well as ensure the on-site control and monitoring of cargo from Ukrainian ports and report on shipments facilitated through the initiative. Turning to Mali, the Undersecretary General for Peace Operations, Jean-Pierre Lacroix, is continuing to meet key stakeholders in Mali to discuss the renewal of the peacekeeping mission's mandate, as well as a strategic review requested by the Security Council. So far, he has held discussions with Prime Minister Choguel Maïga and a number of other ministers, including Foreign Affairs Minister Abdoulaye Diop. Speaking to media after the meetings, Mr. Lacroix stressed the importance of the UN and national authorities working together. He noted that the review of MINUSMA will help define how the peacekeeping mission can better support efforts to achieve the common objective of a smooth political transition. In the Philippines, a 7.0 magnitude earthquake struck the mountainous province of Abra in northern Luzon today, triggering landslides and the collapse of several structures. Assessment teams have been deployed in the affected areas, together with local disaster response teams who are conducting search, rescue, and clearing operations. We are liaising with national authorities and humanitarian partners to determine the impact of the earthquake. The International Organization for Migration will deliver 3,000 tarpaulins and will send an assessment mission to the affected areas tomorrow. Turning to Pakistan, the country has received 60% of total normal monsoon rainfall in just 3 weeks since the start of the monsoon season. Heavy rains have resulted in flash floods and landslides across Pakistan, including in urban areas. As of the 25th of July, the floods have resulted in 312 deaths, and some 300 people have been injured since the 1st of July. More than 10,000 families have been affected, 60% of them in Baluchistan. More than 8,200 houses have been partially or fully damaged. In Baluchistan, at least 150,000 people require humanitarian assistance. 30,000 people have been severely affected, and 400 families have been displaced, according to initial assessments. Authorities and our humanitarian partners are distributing relief items such as tents, food packets, tarpaulins, mosquito nets, kitchen sets, and jerry cans to affected people. Yesterday afternoon, Janine Hennis-Plasschaert, the Secretary General Special Representative for Iraq, briefed the Security Council on the situation in that country. Mentioning the artillery shelling in the Kurdistan region of Iraq, she said that the horrific attack on a well-known and clearly identifiable tourist site demonstrates a shocking disregard for civilian life and for the universally accepted standards of international humanitarian and human rights law, which seek to protect civilians. Ms. Hennis-Plasschaert stressed that it is of greatest importance that all attacks on Iraqi territory cease. Her remarks were shared with you. In South Sudan, our mission there today condemned the attack which happened last Friday in Mayom County in Unity State, which resulted in the death of several people, including the Mayom County Commissioner. The mission appealed to all armed groups to put down their weapons and participate in peace efforts, adding that this is the only way to break the cycles of violence and revenge killings and pave the way for durable and sustainable peace. I want to flag that this afternoon at 2:30 p.m. in Montreal, UNAIDS will release its Global AIDS Update for this year ahead of the opening of the International AIDS Conference. The report contains new data showing that the AIDS response is under threat. It shows how progress on HIV prevention has faltered, how global shocks have exacerbated risks ahead, and how resources for HIV are depleting. And tomorrow, my guest by VTC will be Martin Griffiths, the Undersecretary General for Humanitarian Affairs and Emergency Relief Coordinator. And I'm sure you will be looking forward to that. For questions, yes, Edie.
Thank you very much, Farhan. A couple of follow-ups on the grain deal and the JCC. You mentioned Frederick Kenny as the UN's interim head of the JCC. Can you tell us a little more about him, and is this temporary, pending another appointment soon?
I think in the coming days we'll have some more appointments to make, announcements to make about people. So this is our initial announcement, and yes, he will be our interim representative, and he will, as I pointed out, lead the UN's efforts on the ground in facilitating the party's efforts. That's as much as I have on him for now. I believe we will be issuing to your emails fairly soon a full press release about the opening of the Joint Coordination Center.
Will it include something else about him?
I do not think so, but I'll see whether I can get more about Mr. Kenny. Yes, Ibtisam.
Hi, Farhan. Thanks for the briefing. I want to follow up first on Iraq and the meeting yesterday. The foreign minister had a list of requests to the Security Council, but one of them can also do with the SG, and that's the independent committee to investigate the attack. Since Iraq is requesting this, the country that the attack happened on its territory, is there any request that the SG appoint a committee? Were there any talks about this with your office?
On that, I think since this was, as you know, a briefing to the Security Council, we'll have to see how the Council itself responds to this request, and if they are wanting to provide us with a mandate for this. And by the way, regarding Edie's question, we will try to provide a bio on Mr. Kenny as well.
Just a follow-up, a quick follow-up on that. But you don't, since the country whose the attack happened on its territory, you don't. I mean, I understand that you want to wait for a Security Council mandate, but it doesn't have. This is not the only way that such a committee could be appointed. Am I correct?
Yes, that's largely correct. But as you know, since this is a matter that has been brought to the attention of the Security Council, we will wait to hear what they have to tell us on it.
Okay, I have a question on Tunisia and the referendum. Do you have any comments on that?
Yes, on Tunisia, yes. What I can tell you is that we do take note of the preliminary results of the constitutional referendum that was held on Monday, the 25th of July, as announced by the Electoral Commission. The UN remains available to support the Tunisian people in addressing any existing challenges. We'll now turn the floor. Let me share this around, and I'll get back to you. Yes, James, and then you can come out.
You were talking about Iraq a moment ago. There are large-scale protests in Baghdad right now. Muqtada al-Sadr seems to be leading them. They seem to have infiltrated in recent last few minutes the government and embassy area, the Green Zone. What's the UN's message?
On that, one of the things is in response to the latest reports, we would encourage everyone to respect the sanctity of consular buildings, as indicated under different international norms and international treaties. You're aware of the concerns that Ms. Hennis-Plasschaert expressed yesterday, and I think this illustrates some of the problems that she was bringing to the attention of the Security Council, and the need for all parties, all political groups in Iraq to work together at a time when disunity has been a source of great concern.
Can I ask one, too, about the UN AIDS conference? The head of UN AIDS, Winnie Bayanyima, tweeted, "I'm at Geneva Airport at the gate, boarding pass in hand, on my way to UN AIDS 2022. I'm almost refused to board. All documents scrutinized over and over again. Calls made, I board last. Hundreds of people in the south have been denied visas and won't attend UN AIDS 2022. Unjust, racist." That's where her tweet ends. This seems to I think, draw some light perhaps into Canada, which is hosting this conference, has not let in lots of the people that wanted to attend it. Does the Secretary General share the concern of his head of UN AIDS about this?
Yes, we believe that all of those who are traveling to Canada to attend this conference should be able to attend, and obviously, clearly, there should be no discrimination between who gets in and who does not. That said, of course, we'll leave it to the local authorities to investigate fully what their officials have been doing at the visa desks, and we leave that matter in their hands. But yes, we're well aware of what Ms. Bianyema said. Yes.
Thank you, Farhan. Also on Iraq, Iraqi Foreign Minister said yesterday that his government is ready to work and cooperate with the United Nations and the other countries to force PKK out of Iraq. What's your response? Does the SCG support such initiative?
I think, again, I'd refer you to what Ms. Hennis-Plasschaert said, including, of course, the importance of everyone respecting the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Iraq. Yes, Linda.
Thank you, Farhan. This is an SG question. I was just wondering logistically and in terms of, what his schedule is and how much contact he's had with, those involved with the Black Sea Grain Initiative and also with the Russian, the Russian deal to get the food and fertilizer to world markets.
He's been in contact throughout, even during his so-called leave, and he's been working the phones. We don't have a list of all of the people he's been talking to, but he has been in touch with all the various sides, as well, of course, with both Rebecca Greenspan and Martin Griffiths, the two key people dealing with the individual aspects of these particular initiatives. Yes, in the back. Yeah, please press down. Once the light comes on, you can talk. Nope.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, now it should be working.
Okay. Thank you. This is Diyar Kurda from Rudaw TV, from Kurdistan region of Iraq. Just a follow-up on the yesterday meeting about Iraq. The Iraq requested the UN to demand Turkey to withdraw their forces in their territory. What's your position on that? And do you see the Turkish military bases in Iraqi Kurdistan legitimate as Iraq defined? My second question, Turkey has a plan to conduct another operation in northeast Syria against SDF, Syrian Democratic Forces. What's the UN position on that?
On the first question again, as I pointed out to your colleague, what we're stressing is the importance of respecting the sovereignty and the territorial integrity of Iraq. We would be concerned at any measures that work against that. You'll have seen the statement we issued last week on this particular attack that we were mentioning earlier on in Western Iraq. And of course, you'll have also seen what Janine Hennis-Plashert has had to say, and so I would just draw your attention to that. Yeah.
Turkey has a plan to conduct another operation, military operation in northeast Syria against the Syrian Democratic Forces. What's the UN position on that?
Again, this is something we've spoken out in the past on, and have again encouraged all parties to step away from any further militarization of the conflict, and again to work with respect for the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Syria. Yes.
Given how strongly the Secretary-General has made his point about the breach of the Charter with regard to the invasion of Ukraine, I'd like your reaction to the comments just made by the Russian Minister of Defense. Soon there'll be the Soviet Union again, and we will be able to live in peace. What's the UN's reaction to that?
I'm not going to comment on all the individual bits of rhetoric that have flown about. We have repeatedly said, as a general rule, that all sides need to avoid not just the military actions that have characterized this conflict, but the unhelpful rhetoric that has also been part of this. Yes.
So, my follow-up on your answer regarding Tunisia. There are a lot of many human rights organizations that are worried about this referendum, and I just will read one by Amnesty International, and they like a comment, and they say they are deeply worried that Tunisia has adopted a new constitution that undermines human rights and jeopardizes the progress made since the 2011 revolution. Do you share their opinion on this? What's your comment?
I think I've said as much as I've said on this, and we'll review this legislation, this language in the referendum that has now been certified. And with that, I wish you all a good afternoon, and see you again tomorrow.